So come on my memories yesterday. that So it was 24 years ago yesterday since Junior Witter fought the best 10 stone fighter on the planet in Zab Judah. 9 days notice. Turns out it was too early in Junior's career, but I know he did go on to become a world champion, but you can't, he didn't know whether he was going to get another shot at a world title again. And there's a very funny story in the book which I'm going to release this year. And so Junior is fighting Brooklyn, New York, Zab Judah. Mike Tyson is topping the bill, and he is Zab Judah's godfather. And then there's Steve the Crocodile Finch, who was kind of chairman of the Zab Judah club. He would be walking about, going like that, shouting guerrilla warfare, mother, wearing camouflage. He was just basically there to cause mayhem. He was just there to incite kind of terror to the opponents. And there's a very funny story where they're at the press conference and Junior's with, I don't know, it was John Ingle or Dominic Ingle. It might have been John Ingle. And so Zab Judah's been his usual cocky self, telling Junior what he's going to do. And then they all start looking at Junior, all stare in his direction. Mike Tyson, your Steve Crocodile Finch, your Zab Judah. And then Tyson starts giving it the stare. And Junior's like, looking at me. You just could not imagine it, could you? And then Junior got up and brought some ghetto badass from the streets of Bradford and put it on all free. Not really, but it must have been a frightening. So I think then I think John Ingle got up and went, Junior, I'm not with you, mate. So then it was, just on his own. So then he's got Zab Judah, who's fighting for the world title. Crocodile Finch, who's just got out a lifer from manslaughter. And then you've got the baddest man on the planet with a tattoo on his face, really staring at you. You know what? The only thing could have been worse was if Carol Hatton was there too. Because she obviously didn't like Junior back in them days. But all is forgiven now. Carol's a big follower to the page. And nothing personal. It was just Carol was obviously the mum to Junior's nemesis, arch rival. But yeah, this book is coming out and it's littered with funny stories like that. Junior's quite he's a bit like Nick Manners, as in he's funny, but he doesn't mean to be. I kind of try to work at it, and humour plays a big part in my life. Dark humour, dry humour, whatever. I like to make the joke of bad situations. It's very funny actually, because when I announced 3 years ago now, that's how long we were doing it. When I told the world, I said I'm going to be writing the autobiography of Junior Witter. Someone said, I think it was one of the first comments, said, "Oh my God, the most hated fighter of all time is going to be having his book written by the most hated author of all time." I just had to laugh, because Junior's misunderstood. That's what Johnny Nelson said to me, and I can see that he's really misunderstood. When I've got to know him over the last couple of years, he isn't what I thought he was like for the previous 20 years. He's actually a really, really nice person, where in my case, I am that much of an absolute knobhead. I kind of revel in being seen as a bit of a knobhead. Being a baddie is kind of cool. Junior, he's got this kind of pantomime villain, misty kind of outlooking life. Not outlook, I mean, that's how people view him. When in actual fact, he's a really, really nice guy, and nothing like who he once portrayed to get the big fights. You know, like Razor Ramon, the original bad guy, or when people are playing the part of Sergeant Slaughter or $1 Million Man or Big Daddy, Giant Ace, they have to play that part. And Junior the Hitter, Junior the person, is not Witter the bad guy. That was just an act to chase the Ricky Hatton fight, or I don't know, kind of sell tickets if you like. You know, he was the bad boy of British boxing who everyone loved to hate. These days, obviously Junior's been long retired now. He's 50 now these days. Actually, I always remind him he's middle-aged. Grandad, probably walks about with a whippet, flat cap, paper under his arm. But he's not actually the bad guy. I mean, these days, probably Derek Chisora, Ben Whittaker's kind of coming across as a bit of a bad guy these days. He's doing a lot of what Junior did. You know, all that kind of coming to the ring with angry rap music, jazzy shorts, hideous haircuts. Junior's probably looking now thinking, how the fuck can you talk about anyone's haircut? But he did what he had to do, and didn't matter whether people bought his tickets to watch him get knocked out. They still bought tickets, and yeah, completed the sport of boxing. Didn't do too bad, did he? British, Commonwealth, European, Intercontinental, World Champion. Junior in boxing, completed it, mate. But The Avoided, written by myself, Jamie Boyle, forward by Johnny Nelson, is going to be coming in the latter part of this year. And he is actually a really nice guy. He's just, a lot of people get the wrong end of the stick, and a lot of people, so many people over the years, you know, they're all in the Ricky Hatton fan club, they listen to Oasis, they've got Man City shirts, and they meet him and they think, you know, Michael Gomez met him and some of Ricky's mates, and I think it was a Farnell, it's in the book anyway, and they said, well, I thought you were a bit of a knobhead. And he's really down to earth, really laid back. You know, when I first started writing his book and I would message him, and I just think, he doesn't like me, him. He's just blanking me, and I thought, you know, and then he'd reply like 3 weeks later, and I'd be like, reading the message thinking, what are you on about? But then I'd scroll up, and he's basically replying 3 or 4 weeks later, which I'm told a lot of them kind of, you know, obviously Junior was is Jamaican, or, but a lot of the kind of guys from that Caribbean descent, they are really laid back. But he's definitely probably the most laid back person I've ever worked with. You know, there's certain people of there's a lot I wish I'd never done, but there's quite a few, and they're chasing me non-stop, and Junior's just like, okay, yeah, no problem, and yeah, that's just him. But The Avoided, Junior Witter, not to be missed. Seriously, not to be missed. I'm not biased, but I've read it. I've read it a couple of times, and you know, it's the story of how one young kid grew up on estates of very racist city of Bradford, actually, and just got sick of being called the M word, and went to boxing basically Junior was, a lot of energy at school, and got into boxing because he was allowed to punch people and not get into trouble. Because he was always, people were being nasty, and his mate went, and Junior was like, "Whoa, hang on, stop. You mean you're allowed to go to this place, hit people, and not allowed to get into trouble?" He's like, I want to go there, and that's how Junior went to the. I did go to a gym before, but obviously he went to the Bradford Police Boys. But yeah, the avoided is what's it about? The Cambridge Dictionary means it's someone who avoids something or someone. 15 fights, 15 wins, 15 knockouts, cleaned up British, Commonwealth, European, and arguably became the most avoided fighter at the time, probably in world boxing. Yeah, Junior was mandatory to Mayweather. Even though he was mandatory for some time, it was still hard to get a shot at Mayweather. That's how hard it was. And, I'm sure Mayweather, he would probably go down as maybe the greatest fighter to ever lace up a pair of gloves. And he gave an interview a couple of years back saying he didn't know who Junior Witter was. But he's a smart guy, Mayweather. And he had people around him like that, Leonard Ellery, and, he would have known who his number one mandatory is. And, even if he was 100% convinced he would have beat Junior, he knew there was easier options out there. And I believe that's why the fight never happened. I believe that's why the Ricky Hatton fight never happened. But, yeah, Junior's... It goes into detail because we've heard Ricky's side, and this will be Junior's side for the very first time.